Hey guys, it's Maymay, and it is time for another paper bag project, but it's not going to be a mini album. So I've been seeing all over Pinterest and Google and things like that when I'm searching for these kind of things, this accordion style paper bag book basically, and I want an organizer for something. I want to make an organizer for monthly cards. So like if I want to have a spot for January birthday cards or any card I need to send out in January, February, March, throughout the year, that's what I'm going to do with this. So we're going to try to create it. I don't know how it's going to go. I'm going to film it and see. Oh, I'm going to use this paper pack because I think it's super cute to do my cover, and we're going to go from there. So we'll see what happens. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is prep my bags, and the thing about them is these are just white paper bags, and I know you're going to want to know the size. Let me measure them, but I think you could do this with any bag, okay? But these are almost 8 3/4 by 5, okay? They're almost 8 3/4 by almost 5. Paper bags are never perfect. So we carry these in the store. I'll have a link to these inside the blog post, but these are the ones I'm going to use. I'm also going to use some sticky tape. Now, I did a test run, and I think I have discovered some things that I need to tell you about because it's going to matter. And I know you hate when I talk too much, but you do have to know some stuff, okay? So this is my test run. Let me move these so you can see real well. This is my test run. What's going to happen in the end is this book is going to open like this to hold my month of cards, whatever I need for that month. But here's the thing. The way I adhered this the first time, it's too tight, I think, because I'm going to need a little give here in case I put enough cards in here to need this to kind of puff up. And right now I've got my adhesive too close. I wanted to show you that so that this part makes sense when we get there. All right, here's what we're going to do. So 2 bags, all right. Actually, I'm going to have 12 total. Here's 2. I'm using some sticky tape. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to adhere my sticky tape eyeballing about 1/2 inch up from the bottom. Okay, so 1/2 inch up from the gusseted part of my bag. And let me find my block to cut with. This is what I like to use to do this, line it up and cut. So there's my first piece of tape. My second piece, I'm not using a whole lot, you're going to be surprised, is going to run from there. Okay, so centered, just eyeball. It does not have to be perfect. Centered from there. I'm doing this left-handed. Wow, how awkward for me. Okay, so from there all the way to the top, and then I'm going to tear my adhesive. This is all the tape I'm going to use, okay? My idea is that it will allow it to accordion like I want it to, all right? So not a whole lot of tape on this one. It's going to be easy. Now I'm going to go ahead and peel this off. Now, the other thing I noticed is my paper bags are not perfectly square, which is very common with paper bags. I am not going to stress about that, okay? I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. So I think instead of lining up the base, because I did that on my first one and it didn't look right, I'm going to line up this end so that they kind of lay the same all the way throughout. I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so like on my first one, let me move this one. I lined up the base, but look how off the top is. See that gap? It bothers me more here than it's going to bother me here, and I'll show you what I mean. Here I have no uneven gap. Here I have this tiny little uneven part, but this will be hidden, and I'm not going to worry about that. So I just want to make sure I get these lined up straight. Now again, let me show you what happens. So these open like this, okay? But by moving that adhesive, it gives me a little more, I'll put both hands in like a hand puppet, it gives me a little more of an expanse down there. Make sense? Okay, we're going to do that for 12 bags. So that's 2. I'm going to come back here. I'm going to go about halfway up, about 1/2 inch up, stick that down. I think you could even go an inch. I think you could even go an inch from the bottom on this. Again, I'm guessing. I'm going to eyeball center and run this piece all the way up. And this is going to be the guts of our bag. This is going to be like the inside. And when we're done, we're going to make a cover for it and a back for it. And this is going to be, and I'm probably going to call it an album, but it's really more like an accordion file. So, and you can do this with any size bag, actually. Again, I'm going to line up the bag at the top because I think it will bother me less there. Stick that into place. And I'm going to keep going. But you could do this with any size bags. It would just depend on the size card you're putting in it. I'm an A2 size card maker, so this is going to be fine for me. But if you're someone that makes like a 5x7, you just want to make sure the bag you put in it, the bag you use is big enough to hold the card and envelope that you're going to need. So when we finish, this will be what we can use to put whatever cards we're going to send out for each month. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense. I don't really know what to call it. I guess a monthly card organizer. There you go. That's the name of it. All right, I'm going to run through and do this with 12 bags, and then we'll be ready to start the next step. I do want to mention this. I am alternating the bags. So if I have a plain side where the gusset is underneath, like this is the gusset, then I'm going to stick plain to plain, okay? And I'm going to stick gusset to gusset. The reason for that is I want my thickness to stay the same. I want it to be, you know, alternated instead of off sides, if that makes sense. If you didn't do this, you might get a little off kilter or the bags may not lay just right. So I'm just alternating them. So like this one is a plain one, which means I'll stick plain side to it. So plain bag, plain side. And this is a gusset, so I'll stick the gusset to it. So gusset side down on top of that gusset. It just keeps the bottom from being too wonky. It's like if you're stacking things that are triangular like this, you stack them like this and they give you a flatter space than if you were to stack them. Oh, well, I tried. You get it. So there you go, all stacked. See how neat and clean that is right there? Now watch what's going to happen. This is so cool to me. It opens like this. Look at that. Because we put that one piece of tape in between, we get this accordion book. Wow, that'll make you dizzy, won't it? And I know you've seen those projects where you can do this and turn it into a snowflake. This is how you do it. See how you pull that all together and adhere this last one? But you would cut your bags. I think they go into a point before you do it. But that's kind of where this came from. I was like, wait a minute, this could be an accordion album and we could use it for anything. One thing I think it'd be cool for too, receipts. How neat would this be if you wanted something to hold receipts? Or, because I mean, look how much space you have in each one. Maybe you wanted it, if you're a scrapbooker and you have photos that you want to scrapbook, but you're not ready. What if you did these by topic, where you put like the Disney trip and you put your photos in here until you got ready? Just wait, now let's make it cute. Okay, so you guys ask me all the time what kind of stuff I use for covers. These are box lids. They came from a box. I ordered something from Amazon and this was the lid and it's big enough and it's cardboard. You don't have to use cardboard. You can use chipboard, but I even recycle my chipboard. I try to find it whenever packages come in or from cereal boxes or cracker boxes or things like that. But this thinner cardboard works really good. And I decided to do this for my cover because I want to use this book a lot, you know, for the whole like year and maybe more. So I want to use something that I think will hold up. Also, you asked me, how do I cut it? Well, most of the time I use my trimmer. Now I want a 5-inch piece. So I'm going to do the exact same thing, but this way I can make sure it's good and straight. So there's that. We'll fold this to see where I need to cut on the other side. Flip it over and cut through. And this doesn't hurt my blade. I mean, if it does, I've never noticed it. I've used my Cricut trimmer for my chipboard forever, and it's never really been a problem for me. So, all right, 5 inches wide, and I need it 9 inches long. And this is where I kind of evaluate the ends. This one is straighter than this one, so I'm going to cut this end away. So I'm going to line this up at 9 inches. And I'm going to cut it. I also want to tell you how I arrived at my dimensions. So I'm going to do that after I get this cut. All right, I've cut through the top, fold it back, crease it down. Here, it's not a big deal. I can put it in and put it at 9 inches again. But I like to do it because I can see where I'm cutting. Check that line. Just like so. And then pull that off. Come off. I got one piece in there that's not wanting to come. There we go. All right, so 9 by 5. I'm going to cut my other piece, and then I'm going to show you how I got this size. So here's how I decided on my size for my toppers. I want my cardboard to be the same width as this piece, but I wanted to have a little extra to hang over the edge to cover my tabs, because I'm going to put monthly tabs in here so I can have like January through in there. So what I've done is I cut this piece to be exactly the width of my paper bags. I'll lay it this way. So it's the width but I have a little bit of a lip hanging over, and that's just to protect my tabs. Now, I don't believe my tabs are going to be 100% hidden inside there, and I'm okay with that, but if you want them hidden, just be sure to bring this out a little more, okay? So I have my front and my back cover, and now I want to cover them in pretty paper. It's my favorite part. Now, I'm using this for birthday cards. I feel like I'll have a lot of birthday cards to send out for the year, and just using it for birthday cards is fine for me. But if you're using this for just any old cards, you don't have to use a specific paper. And I may not put any birthday on here at all. I may just use the paper color because I think it's cute. So I'm going to flip through here and find what I want to be my cover. You know I'm a sucker for plaid. I'm going to pull that out because I'm always a sucker for plaid. And, oh, this is cute, especially if I want it to be birthday themed. So is this. These two pieces are cute, but I don't love them together. But I kind of do like this. It feels like a party to me. Just go with what feels good to you. So I'm going to use these two, but I can't decide what I want to be my cover. I kind of think I want the plaid to be on the back. Isn't that funny? Because that's not normally like me, but I kind of like the polka dots for the front. So I think that's what I'm going to do. All right, to cover this, what I like to do is I like to cut my cardstock 1 inch bigger than this because I want a 1/2 inch to wrap around. But I'm going to tell you something. This is cardboard, not chipboard, so it's a little thicker. So you might want to allow for that. You might want to cut your cardstock maybe 1 1/4 inches bigger to give you even a little more gap. And I think that's what I'm going to do to be safe because I don't want to waste my cardstock. So what that means is, bring out my trimmer. That means I'm going to cut my front cover to be 6 1/4 because remember it was 5 inches, so I'm going to cut it at 6 1/4, just like that. And then I'm going to come around and cut it at 10 1/4 because remember we're going 1 inch longer or 1 1/4 inches longer than the length of our cover. Now let's look at what that looks like. So this piece, lay this on top, and look how much I have to wrap around. I think it's always safer to have the extra like this to wrap around than to cut it too close because then you get frustrated trying to wrap it. So this is perfect. I'm going to go ahead and cut the other piece for the back too. All right, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stick this piece down and eyeball center it. Got some fuzzies on there, and I'm just going to use my art glitter glue to do that part, but then I'm going to use sticky tape to adhere the paper around. This is just to hold this in place. So just some thin lines of art glitter glue here. Put my pen back in because I won't be using it for a bit here. All right, and then flip this around and just eyeball center it. Because I use so little art glitter glue, I kind of have to get it there pretty quick because art glitter glue dries so fast. I have to be quick. All right, the same thing I do for anything else. If you've watched me do any of my mini albums, this is all kind of the same process. What I do here is I'm going to take my embossing tool and I'm going to score to give myself a little ease when I'm turning this. It also breaks up the fibers of the paper, so when I turn it I get a nice clean turn and nothing is crinkly or wrinkly. Also, I want to miter the corners, but I tell you something, I'm going to save you a little heartache. I think we're going to try. I'm going to go ahead and put my adhesive down first. So I'm using sticky tape on this, and I'm going to run the sticky tape along the paper. You could run it along your cardboard piece, but what I find is I like to know, I've lost my block. I've lost my block, okay. I like to know that the edge of this paper is going to be stuck there, and if I put it right here, I could have a little flipped edge, if that makes sense. I just like to know the very edge is being stuck down, so doing it this way, I can know that. Also, I don't have to go all the way to that corner because remember we're going to miter it, but I like to do this first even though I waste a tiny bit of adhesive because then I know I've got it all the way wherever it's going to touch. This project is not going to take as much product as you think anyway. The biggest thing on this one's going to be decorating the cover because it's going to be easy to, you're not going to decorate pages like a mini album, if that makes sense. You're pretty much just going to decorate the cover. All right, I'm going to miter. Now here's how I like to miter. I eyeball about 1/8 inch out. Okay, you can mark it if you need to, but I just come about 1/8 inch away from the curve and cut an angle. That way my cardboard gets covered. And on the cardboard, the thicker your cardboard or chipboard is, make sure you leave plenty of room, 1/8 inch or even more if you need to, because you can always kind of make some little adjustments once you get it folded. You always snip any extra little pieces off. All right, so see how now I have adhesive running all the way to the ends because I did it first? Now I know every part of this that touches that cardboard is going to have adhesive. All right, here's what I do. I use the table, fold it, press it, and that gives me a nice, clean fold, and I know wherever this is touching is got adhesive on it. Let's do the other side too. Peel that off, lift it, lay it down, just like so, and then the ends. Now again, if you have too much on your corners, which you probably won't, but if you do, you can always just make a little snip. And I just bent my cardboard because I forgot I was using cardboard, but that'll be fine. Then our last little piece on this side, just lift that up and lay it over. And then, just for safekeeping, not a big deal, I just take my bone folder and burnish this down. Just like so. This is kind of like when we made the box the other day. So see, now all my corners are covered. There's no cardboard showing, but I want to show you because I was talking about this. Can you see that little bit that's sticking out? You can always take your little scissors and just kind of snip that away if you want. It might leave some white, which mine did. I wouldn't do this normally. I'm just showing you, you can always trim that down, but I wouldn't worry about it. I just kind of let it ride normally because it will take some wear and tear and it'll flatten out over time. No biggie. Okay. So that is the back of my book. I'm going to cover the front the same. Now, before I put my covers on my bags, I decided to make these tabs. This is going to be what I put my month on, the like January, February, March, like this. And I'm going to alternate these in the bag so whenever I open, I can see it. But I also decided to do this. Now, what this is, it's a free printable I'm going to give you guys. Let me show you what it looks like. It's a piece like this. It's a PDF I'm going to put into the blog post. And these are sized for this project. And I'll put all the measurements and everything for this project in the blog post as well. But you can size these down. It's a PDF, so you could like make copies of it and shrink it. Or you can make your own. It was super easy. It's a text box, some lines. And what I did was date, name, address. So each one will have a date and then 2 lines, name, address. And that way I can put these in the slots for what they are. So say that obviously the first one is January. I can slide this in. Now I made these super all the way, like all the way from end to end. I did not shorten them at all. So they fit that bag nice and snug. And then I can pull January out and see who I need to make or send cards to. Now this is really cool because I can do this throughout the year and then just come back whenever I'm ready to make that month's cards and pull this out and make cards individually for folks if I want to. I think it's cool. So that's how that's going to live. Let's talk about the tab thing, how I did that. All right, so these guys measure, and I better double check, it's 4 3/4, yep, 4 3/4 by 9. And I went ahead and cut enough to have 12, so 1 for each month. Okay, so they're gonna do double duty. They're gonna hold that little birthday sheet I just showed you, but they're also gonna be my tab at the top of my bag. So I need my tab punch board, which I have moved away from me. Here it is. And here's how I'm going to do it. I'm not doing anything fancy, okay? I'm going to take this little stopper and put it in where it says side tab. And then the top of the page, I'm just going to punch a corner, okay? Then I have to remove this guy to do this part, but you can do all one side and then all the other. I'm going to use the large tab, so I'm going to line this up on the large tab, punch, and then slice this away. It's super easy. Just lay this under here like so. Take the blade, put it in, and slice that away. Then this is trash. That's a too tiny piece to save, so I'll get rid of that. And then this becomes my slide-in piece. So on the front of this, I will glue one of my little birthday things. Now I want to show you this too. We're doing 1 for each month. Okay, so you're gonna be able to put one on the front of this guy and the back, depending on how many birthdays you have to send out to. Okay, or whatever cards. I'm just doing my birthday theme. I thought it would be cute. You have to remember, like, I'm a Sunday school teacher. I have people that I work with, my family. There's lots of people that need birthday cards, and I really am trying to do better this year to get those out. So this is something I needed in my stash, and I thought, if I need this for me, somebody else out there needs it. But here's a question for you. What would you store in this if you didn't do cards or photographs? Can you think of something else you would put in them? Now, the only thing you need to remember is how you're going to lay these out into your bag book, because I need to make sure I do 6 that face this way and 6 where the tab is on this side, so that I can alternate them so I can see the months. Okay, so that's actually 2 because I have 1 in the bag already done. So let's do the rest of them. What I'm going to do is just assembly line punch these guys. Okay, so put that back in place. I'm going to make 4 more in this same orientation I just did, and then I'll make 4 in the opposite, and that way I can keep up. Not 4, I'll make 6 in the opposite. All right, so that's 2 more, 3, and then 4. I hope that makes sense. I want to make all of these tabs over here, and then I'll switch to the other so I can keep myself in line. All right, I can remove this little guy, and I'm going to line this up on the large, which is there. Punch. Line this up on the large. Now I'm just going to glue these guys together. I also want to say this. If you're going to double side these, meaning if you're going to put the birthday organizer on both sides, you don't have to do this like I am, where I'm doing 6 and then 6. But because I'm only going to put the birthday information on one side to start with, I want to make sure my tabs will all lay in the right spot. If I was putting it on both sides, it wouldn't matter. I wouldn't worry until it was time for me to put the month up here. But for now, I'm going to make sure I get them 6 and 6. So I'm going to go through and glue these down, and then I'm going to build my other ones just the same, but with make sure I put the tab, or put this piece on the right side. Now I'm going to use my never-ending calendar set, and I am going to use the words in it to do my months. So I'm going to move, let's see, how do I want to do it? I have to go January, February. I have to alternate like this. This is how I'm keeping my brain in line. You might want to run through and just make a little note so you can be sure. But I think if I lay them this way, I'll be okay. So I'm going to put on the January word. And I think these are going to work fine. Ooh, sorry about that noise. I think these are going to work fine because this wording is kind of a block text, and I want to stamp it directly onto the pattern paper. Look how cute that is. I think that's going to work just perfect. Now, I'm going to go ahead and turn this over and stamp January again while I'm here. That way, if I do decide to come back and put that other piece on the back, I'll know, no matter which side I'm looking at, which month I'm in. Okay, while I'm here, already got my stamp dirty, might as well do it, right? Okay, then I'm just going to clean this and put it back, and then go right into February. And look, that even shows up really well on the real pattern pages. That's cute. So now check this out. When it's in the book, because I'm doing it this way, I'll have January and February, and they'll alternate. And when I open the accordion, I'll be able to tell what they are easily by looking at them. So I'm going to continue all the way through the months the same way. So now I have them all done, and you see how they alternate, and so they are ready to go into my book. But we need to put covers on and a closure. So here's what I'm going to do. I want this to be able to expand. Remember how I told you we did it like this on purpose? Look how far out this will expand. So when we're filling this up, we have lots of space. So I don't want to cover this part. I don't want to put anything here because I want it to be able to get as big as it needs to get throughout the year. Okay, so I am not going to do a wraparound. I'm just going to put my cover on top, and I'm going to put my back on like so. This way, and I'm going to put everything like this to the bottom, right? So that way this is flush and it can open. This is very much like we did the fall album, except I wrapped some burlap in here, but I'm not going to do that. And I want it to have a closure, okay? But I want that closure to also expand. So I'm going to use ribbon, and I think this one's cute, this little spring colored ribbon. And I'm going to give myself too much ribbon so it can expand and I can tie it no matter how big it gets. What this ribbon will do, I'm using kind of a wide one too. What it will do is it will hold my cards and my dividers inside no matter what, okay? So all I need to do first, I don't need my covers just yet. Also, I don't have to cover this because the bags are going to do that. So all I need to do first is attach my ribbon to this. So I'm going to start, put this over here, I'm going to start with this piece, and I'm going to use sticky tape to attach it right here, okay? So bring my sticky tape over, put a piece on here, get my little block, there's that. And I might put 2 pieces, but let me see. Let me peel this backer off and see if I can add another piece. I think I can. I'm going to add a piece beside it because I don't want my ribbon to come out, although I am going to go back and sandwich it. I'm getting ink on here. I am going to go back and sandwich it with more adhesive in just a minute, so it'll be in here really nice. So I want plenty on, so I'm putting 3 little strips, or 3 pretty wide strips, because I really want my ribbon to stay over the years. And here we go. Take the ribbon, and I'm just going to stick it into this adhesive and rub it down. This adhesive is really strong. It will hold this ribbon. Look at this. I could rip the page before I would rip the ribbon off. So there's one side. And again, I'm going to give myself plenty. Okay, so I'm probably going to give myself to here, and I'll tell you kind of what that looks like. Let me cut it. I'm going to come back and fray check that too, but I want to show you. Let me lay it like this so the screen will get it. See how much I left myself? A lot. I want it to be able to expand. I don't know how big it will get over time. I just want to have room in case it needs to grow. Okay, so I'm going to put the adhesive down again. So a piece here. And I'm peeling this up every time because I'm overlapping this a little bit, because it doesn't need to be 3 of these wide. So I'm just overlapping it a little bit. All right, next piece of ribbon. I'm running out of this ribbon. This is a good use for it. Okay, stick this in, kind of laying it with the other one underneath. Doesn't have to be perfect. You're going to tie a bow. It will be fine. And then I'm going to cut it to the same length as the one underneath. I'm giving myself way too much ribbon. But I was on the end of that roll and I needed to use it up anyway, so we're good. Okay, now let's attach the covers, and here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use this sticky tape, and I'm going to be very liberal because I want this cover to stay on. So I'm going to run strips of it up and down on top of the ribbon as well. I don't want any gaps in it. I don't really mind a little bit of a gap between, but I don't want any gaps up here. And see, this is going to help to sandwich that ribbon in even more. This sticky tape is amazing. You really don't have to worry about it, but I want to make sure I get plenty on. And I'm going to use my thinner one and finish off this end down here. Just like so. All right, let's peel the backers off. All right, I've exposed all of the adhesive, okay? I'm going to put my backer on. I'm going to hold it up here at the top at the ribbon, and this is the cover, not the backer. And I want it to line up flush with the bottom and cover those bags. We're good. We're a little off. I'm not going to stress. All right, I'm going to lay that down like so, and then I'm going to do the same thing on the back, but this is completely adhered down now, okay? So I'm going to run my adhesive on the back and do the exact same thing. Same thing again. I'm standing it up because I want it to be flush at the bottom. I'm going to put that on just like so. And now check this out. These pieces, these ribbons will open, and look how much space. And here's the best part. Now that I have the covers, I can show you that it will expand as you fill it up. Isn't that awesome? I love it. Okay, let's put our little tab dividers in. Okay, so a couple things. This is my little divider piece, all right? And what I did was I rounded the bottom corners with my corner rounder. I just went through and used this one that I used, the We Are Memory Keepers one, and rounded these bottom corners on all these sheets, okay? And then you just slide this into the long side of the bag. And what I mean by that is you have a long side and a gusseted side in each bag. This will only fit in the long side because we made it tall, okay? So once you put them all in, look at that. And you don't have to guess, it'll let you know. If you put the little piece in and it doesn't go all the way to the bottom, you know you got to move it to the other side. And then my little ribbon will close it up. Now I'm going to put fray check on this ribbon, and what that'll do is keep it from fraying. You could use a clear nail polish. One thing I would caution you on though is use a matte finish nail polish, because that way it won't leave a little shine. This is Fray Check. I get this at Walmart. It's super cheap, and I think it comes in a 2-pack, so you can pick that up if you want to. But I'm going to do that at the end so I can let it sit and dry. All right, the last thing I want to do is my cover, and I don't know what I want to put on it yet, so let me go pick something out. I'll be right back. Now my cover is going to be simple. I went into the paper pack and I pulled out the plaid that is the same on the back of the album. And what I'm going to do is do this kind of little piece that's layered with some black across the middle, like so. So I'm going to glue that down. So let me do that real quick. I'm going to glue these to each other and then down to the cover. Now, I decided not to go crazy on my cover. Here's why. This paper pack is adorable, and I've already used a good bit of the paper out of it, but I want to make cards out of it too, birthday cards for this album. So I don't want to use all the stickers and things because they're perfect for cards. They're so stinking cute. So I'm going to use just minimal stuff on the front. But the thing I thought was cool about this, like I said, let's say you wanted to make a wedding card album, or maybe you wanted to make a thank you card album. Maybe not with 12 pockets, but you might, or maybe you just want to make a greeting card album that each tab has a different kind of greeting card in it. You could totally do that too. And then you could use different paper packs for it. And this uses a good bit of your paper pack. I mean, especially this one, but I think it's cute. I didn't get that quite straight. Let me look at it. Oh, we're very crooked. Let's move that down a little bit. Much better. All right, and then for the big part, I'm going to use this, and I'm not going to pop it up on any dimension. I just think this is cute. The more candles, the bigger the wish, and I thought this would be cute to put on the front to remind me this is a birthday album for birthday cards. And I'm not popping this up on dimension because if I want to put these on a bookshelf next to each other, I won't have to worry about the dimensional foam catching, you know, with the papers lifted up. So I'm just going to put this directly onto the front and glue it straight down. Quite centered, but you know me, not stressing. All right, and then this little guy. And I'm calling this one done because this is a utilitarian piece, so I'm not going to spend forever decorating it. It's just for me to have. But how fun to be able to have something like this to store your birthday cards in. I think it's going to be super fun to use. And they're all, I can do for the whole year. So let's say that I meet a new friend or I find out somebody has a birthday in July. I can pull out that little July strip and just go ahead and write down the birth date, the name, and the address. And then when I get to July and I pull it out to do my birthday cards, I can stick birthday cards in, or I can just go and make birthday cards for what I have in the list. I hope you guys enjoy this. Now I'm telling you, this could be an album for all kinds of things. Just think storage out of this, or photos, but the reason it's mostly for like storage is because of the way we've put everything together. It's not going to lay flat for you to flip through like a book. But how cool is that? I love it. I hope you guys enjoyed as much as I do. And if you're interested in any of the supplies I used, or if you would like further directions like measurements and things like that, I will link a blog post below in the description. So you can just click that little clickable link that'll take you to the blog post and you can get that information. Now here's the thing. If you make one of these, you know I want to see it. So head over to my Facebook group, which is called Maymay Made It and So Did I, and you can share your project there, or go to our customer gallery, which is on our website called maymaymadeit.com, and you can share your project there as well. And my freight check is closed up, so let's open it up. But you can share with us there in our customer gallery, and if you're looking for inspiration, that is a great place to find inspiration on our customer gallery. So many people have been posting there projects that they're making, and you'll be inspired there. All right, guys, I'm gonna put this freight check on. I'm gonna leave this to dry overnight, and then my book is ready to be used. Super fun and easy. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. Have a great weekend. I'll talk to you again real soon. Bye-bye.